Hey there, Internet Keith here, and welcome to the Cars and Keith YouTube channel. And in this video, I'm doing something I never thought I would do before. My F30 model, they had the LCI came out with the tail lights, headlights. They came with the iDrive 6 with the CarPlay and the B58 motor. It became the 340i instead of the 335i. Now, my 335 and an M3 both share something in common. The F-Series body style, they use the exact same headlights, tail lights, a lot of other things. The spoilers are the same, which really helps when it comes to availability for parts. Well, my buddy F80 Ho, follow him on Instagram, YouTube, does some great stuff. He went ahead and upgraded to the GTS version 2 tail lights. He hit me up and was like, dude, I know you're pre-LCI, but I got some LCI tail lights for you, OEMs, for a really good price. And I'm like, let's do it. So there's going to be some work to do with this. We're going to have to change some pins on some wiring, but I did get a wiring harness that cost a little more, a little over $100 to help make it easier. I only have to change the pins on the outside taillights. The inside taillights, you normally have to change the entire assembly and move every pin from one to another. So let's get right into the install. So here's the taillights up close. Sorry for the glare, it's really sunny outside. But you can see that this has, it comes from the inside, goes around the top and back and down. And this one just has two lines that come out and go up. I think this is just cleaner. And actually it's a little bit blacker in the background than these. Then the middle taillights, you'll see these two lines are very separated. And then on this, they're very close. The reverse light is now at the bottom instead of at the top. And you have a turn signal in the middle part there at the top. Okay, first thing we do is remove the negative battery terminal. We're gonna turn this that way. Just pull it all the way down, so if you have anything loose, it may fall out. That's the easiest way to get that out. It's a 10 millimeter. I can't get my camera in here as an angle, so it's real easy. Just loosen it up enough to where it'll move. And then we jiggle it loose and set it to the side. Second thing we do is to guard against accidentally closing it while the power is off. So we put a microfiber through here. You don't have to tie it off like other people say. You just need to bunch it up to where that thing can't fall down and lock. Now, if that happens, you're not fully locked out. You can get in from the inside. If your doors are unlocked from the inside, you can get through those seats. And then there is actually a pull right there that will open the trunk from the inside. I think that's only in the US. I think there's a lot of countries that actually don't have that pull cord. So to remove the drip rails, and it's just one little fastener right here. It's a flathead. I really don't have to do it this way, but you're basically just spinning it open. It won't continue to come out. So you put some pressure against it like this. That way you don't have to hurt those ribs that are on there. It's all plastic, so it's very fragile. Oh, we got some gunk in there, don't we? So we use the same 10 millimeter that we used for the battery. I have to be very careful here, so I'm actually going to tape off. So you can see there's enough of a gap here. I'm able to get tape in there so it's not going to harm anything. The worst place is right there, so I'm trying to get a piece way in there. That's where the little rubber piece sticks in. So I put my hand in here like this, kind of at the bottom, pulling up a little bit. I just put my hand here on the edge and just want to work it loose like that, so that way at some point I can get my hand. There we go. There's a tab right here. I'm going to hold it from the bottom so I don't drop, and then pull that off. So next we need to do the safety latch. Just pull that off and turn it around, and you push this piece right here forward. All right, next there's Phillips here and here, there, and then 4 of them across the top. These are very weird fasteners here. They have really small little openings for a Phillips. You have to be very careful that you don't strip them out. I use a fastener pull tool to get them the last little bit. Now we need to take this trim piece off so we can run the wire, and also it's holding the liner on the trunk up there. It's just really simple. Pry tool. There you go. You just pull from the bottom. Be careful you don't crease the plastic. So I forgot to mention there's also a fastener here and over there. And these you're probably going to have to pull with pliers. That one. So now at this point it's just kind of hanging on right here and where these adjustments are. So we just pull from behind. We can make it to where this is no longer attached to these poles. And just pull it off. To take the trunk taillight out, it's just one 10mm bolt right here, and this moves a tensioner that just kind of holds it in place. So take a small flathead, and there's just a little pin in there. Pull that out. To make it easier, I'm going to go ahead and completely take this off. So that way it's an easy slide out. If not, you have to kind of jiggle it back and forth. You're basically going to take your hand, put it on the assembly, put your hand on the top of the tail light. You kind of push together so when you push out, it's not going to come out really hard. And just kind of push it up to the top. And then this is going to slide this way. And then it just comes right out. And you see that piece fell out? So this is what keeps it held in on the top. And that's why you kind of slide it. Basically, you're going to take the unit, slide it in, and you got to get this clip in on this side, and then the assembly slides this way just a little bit. Just got to get everything. There we go. Now that's back in place, we tighten up this bolt. These are 8mm. On my other ones, they're 10s, which is a little weird. And we don't want to go too tight because this is a plastic assembly. There we go. Take the stock plate assembly, plug in this. The red is the right side, and this plugs right into the unit like that. Then we're going to take this wire, we're going to need to bring it down to the bottom. You want to make sure up here you don't need a ton of slack. Your slack needs to be down here because when this trunk curves in, it's going to want to pull that wire that way. The other side we used zip ties because there is no wiring harness running down that side. And we pull up on this rubber seal and kind of pull the trunk liner down to the bottom there and out this way just a little bit. We're going to run the wire through here and catch it on this side. Now that we got it fed through there, we need to get the wire to come out this hole right here. So you're basically just going to use the natural curvature of the wire already there. Now you can't just get your fingers directly in there, but you can see the light of the hole from the inside to guide. Here we go. So we all get to become YouTube electricians now because we got to move some of these wires around. This is very easy. This is not difficult at all. So take a pry tool or even your fingernails. Just kind of unlock that and you can pull it out. So what we need to do now is move number one, number two, and we need to swap those two. Then we need to take the piece out of prong 4 and then move the gray wire, the gray and yellow wire from 5 to 4. So I find the best way is take your pry tool, dig up on the top, push down. Here we go. Okay, so we got 1 and 2. I'm going to take 1 out, and then I'm going to hold 2, put it into slot 1. Then we'll put 1 in the slot 2. Making sure they're all the way in there. Now we got to pull this blue plug out. Here we go. We need to push the pin from the gray one out, just like that. And then move it to number 4. Here we go. We put our blue plug into slot 5. And there we go. So we slide the lock back in. So now we need to take wire 1 and pull it out to the side, and we have a lock here. This is called a Scotch lock. So we'll put the wire in between the metal there and then close it. You hear it snap. Now you need to strip the red wire that came from the top. Here we go. We put that in the supplied plug, and when you know what's in there right, you crimp. I like to pull the plastic off. that plug in there first, then slide this over the top. So you take your connector. At the front of this assembly, there's a knob right here. That slides right into this grommet over here. And then you align your plastic here with the bolts, making sure you're not messing with that wire that we have feeding through. There we go, and you just push in. Put our 10 mils back on. And you don't want to turn these too tight because this is plastic housing. We put our drain rails back in. Put our carpeting back, or our liner, trunk liner. So you just kind of pull at the rubber. So I checked closing the trunk, which is what you should do to make sure that your wires, you have enough slack, so you're not gonna, pull this wire out or strip it. So now we just put everything back together. I want to put this down a little bit so I can get this around the wires. There we go. This will slide up. Gotta make sure your emergency handle wire goes back through. Here we go. These two are the strongest screws, so they're going to help guide the whole install. Now you put this wire back in. Like that. We put these pieces back on. The hinges on the inside. Make sure we're gathering up that wire. And clip them down. So we put our negative battery terminal back on. 10 millimeter. There we go. This cover panel, tilt it back about 75 degrees. Should go right in, and then we turn this up. Locked into place. So, moment of truth. Does the trunk close without issue? Sure does. Alright, let's hit the unlock button, see what happens. Oh yeah. That's much better. More defined, more black in the background. A little less red. Goes better with the car. So now we got a little bit of coding to do. The instructions they gave us. But you have to go into all of these areas. This would be under advanced and Beamer code under the REM module. So we were using Beamer code to do this. So when you get in the rear engine module, you don't even have to go into the expert mode. These are already here for you. You don't have to follow that list. All the way down at the bottom, LCI taillights. You just say active. So then you don't want to do all these, and it's under LED conversion. So you have outer, inner, the brake lights, brake force display, reversing lights, rear fog light, rear turn signal. You check all of those to active, and then we code. Then we're going to get a big old important notice. Start coding. Shouldn't take long. Restarting the ECU. Coding successful. Alright, so let's test to make sure all of our coding worked for the LED conversion. These are our running lights. I have them coded to run with the front all the time on. There's left turn signal. Right turn signal. Both the inner and the outer should both be blinking. Both are flashing. Brakes. You can see there's our brake lights behind there and there. And then we got the third brake light up top. Well, I think that turned out amazing. I like the old design as well, but it's just too much red. This allows a lot more dark spacing behind the light. I think it goes a lot more with the car, and that red just isn't all in your face. I like the fact that it's LED. It was just an OEM perfect fit. We had to do a few wire changes, but it wasn't bad because we bought the kit where we didn't have to change the ones for the trunk lights, just those lights on the side. Everything worked perfect. The coding was great with Beamer Code because you didn't have to go into expert mode and do this and this and this. I'll leave a link in the description below for any kind of tools or anything that might be cool that would be suggested to you. But outside of that, thank you F80 Ho for sending me the OEM LCI taillights. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Now, I never thought, but when my buddy F80 Ho, new GTS V2, so to remove this, it's just a flathead screw. So we have to remove the drip rails. It's just, so now we use the same, so now we use the same 10 millimeter. So now we gotta take this trim piece off because now we take this trim, so now at this point it's just kind of hanging on from where it's pretty easy. This 10 millimeter, so to take the trunk tail light out, it's to take the trunk tail out, it's just one 10 millimeter. So to take the trunk tail out, oh my gosh. Now that you've got you fetted through, well, I think that, I'm just gonna have to do it through the lawnmower. It said every single time. Gives me a few minutes of extra content though, so.